Hi. Okay, I'm back with another video. This is a different kind of video. I don't know how to start this video. I just felt led to do it. Let me start off by saying that number one, I felt led to do this video, and I just asked people to just pray about it, seek God about it, and eat the meat and spit out the bones, as I always say. I've been going through a lot in my life lately, but I purpose in my heart to always make myself available for God to use, regardless of what I'm going through, because someone always has it worse than me or you even. So there's been a lot of times when I've been going through hell in my life, and I need a word and I need encouragement, and God always, leads me to encourage someone else or to speak into someone else's life, and I'm always obedient. So, like I said, I've been going through a lot in my life, and but I always allow God to use me in any way He sees fit, and make myself available to Him. So I forget what day it was. I forget what day it was, but I always record my dreams. So I'll go back and listen to the recording, because I always say the date of when I had the dream. So I know that it was either this week or last week that I had this dream. But how do I even get into it? Because it's so deep. I can say it was the night when I had this dream. I couldn't sleep, and when I can't sleep, I pray, because I know that the enemy is trying to fight me on seeing or hearing what God wants me to hear or see. So when I can't sleep, I know that the Lord is trying to talk to me, and the enemy is trying to come up against that. So I always pray, and I always say, Lord, tell me what you want to tell me. Show me what you want to show me. I'm here. I'm available. I'm listening. Your servant is listening. And so it was pretty late. I was kind of frustrated because I knew I had to get up early for work. And sure enough, after a few minutes, I instantly fall into a deep sleep. Let me first start out by saying I at the time was not following the court proceedings that have been going on in the I believe her name is Lindsay Clancy. I wasn't following it all, knew nothing about it. Probably, what was it? I think it happened like 2 to 4 years ago, I'm not sure. Somewhere in there. So I was not following, wasn't thinking about it, didn't hear nothing about it, knew nothing about it. So I'm just going to start off by saying that. So I'm just going to tell you what I saw in the dream. So like I said, I prayed, went into a deep sleep, and I was immediately, in a dream, and I was standing back watching a woman I could not see her face. I just knew that she had long, dark hair. It was dark outside in the dream, and she was trying to load her baby into a van. I had this sense in the dream that she had some sense of urgency, and I did not know if this was her only child or if she had more children. I kind of felt like in the dream she had more children, but for some reason her focus was the baby, and she was trying to get her and the baby to safety. She was taking kind of a long time to get the baby buckled in, and I had this sense of urgency. It was like I was feeling what she was feeling, and she was just like, I don't know what's going on, but I have to get away. I have to escape this, get away from this situation. And it was almost like she didn't know what the danger was. She just knew it was danger. Like women's intuition, you know when we get that feeling. And she was trying to get the baby buckled in, and she was taking forever. And I was standing back in the dream watching all of this take place. And I said, she doesn't know that this man is after her. Now, at the time in the dream, I did not see a man. Again, it was just a feeling that I had that this man was after this woman. And I said, I need to help her. So I go get to the van, but I feel like the closer I got to the van, the closer he was getting to her. And so I was trying to rush and get to her. And I was like, I'm not going to make it. She's not going to get away. And all of a sudden, in the dream, she had a van. And I don't know if that's the kind of car she has, because, well, I'll get to that. But I saw a van. It was a van, and vans have the rolly doors. So she had her knees up, she was on her knees in the van trying to buckle her baby in. And like I said, she was taking a long time. And I said, she's not gonna escape. She's not gonna get away. Well, all of a sudden, something happens where the van starts driving itself. I don't know if it was divine intervention. I just know she wasn't in the driver's seat. I didn't see anyone else in the driver's seat, but the car just started taking off. And as the car started driving off, she was still trying to buckle the baby in, and her legs, the back of her legs, her calves, were hanging out of the van. And so the door awkwardly rolled over the back of her calves, and I said, oh no, that's going to tear up her legs. And the car took off and just started driving away. And all of a sudden, I look at the back of the van and I see a man standing there, and he had just missed her by 5 seconds. And he was just standing there, and somehow I made it into the van, and I'm looking out the back window at him, and he looks like a deer in headlights, oh no, she got away. What am I gonna do? He just looked like shocked. What am I gonna do? And then he looked at me oh, she saw that I was trying to get her. And then all of a sudden, as the van was driving off, I see all around the house looked like a fence. How do I explain it? How I saw it? It was like these baby deer that looked like they were petrified, I think is what you call it. So it looked like they were frozen in time and had fossilized into like wood, but it looked like a wood carving, and it was all around like a fence, like around the house. And it looked like these deers were just frozen in time, but they were all like mommy deers and like baby deers, I believe. And they were all just like, they just looked like they were petrified, is the word that came to me in my dream. And it was honestly beautiful, but very eerie. Like, it shook me. And I woke up from the dream and I was very confused because I was like, okay, I was like, Lord, I don't know what you showed me, but I got very emotional and I felt very sorry for this woman. And I just started to pray for her. And I was like, Lord, I don't know this woman, never seen her before in my life. She's obviously in trouble, she's in danger. And I just started praying for her. And as days passed, it was like that dream it stuck with me. I just kept praying for her. And one night following me having that dream, I was like, Lord, you have to give me something more. Like, who was it you were showing me in the dream? You clearly showed me her for a reason. And I was like, I just need to know more, because she was like so heavy on my heart the days after me having the dream. And again, one night I couldn't sleep, and I had prayed, and oddly enough, I felt led to get on Instagram. And I got on Instagram, and the Lindsay Clancy, I believe is her last name, that's how you pronounce it, someone was on there talking about it. And the more I started listening to what has been coming out, if you know, you know, concerning her husband, if you know, you know, and the doctors. I've never been through anything that she's been through, but I know how doctors like to gaslight you, and in women's health, I will say this: we don't get the help that we need, and even from women doctors, I've gotten better responses and help from male doctors than I did from women doctors. And watching what I've watched, like I said, if you know, you know. I'm not going to get into it, but if you know, you know. It just really made me angry and sick to my stomach almost, hearing these doctors testify and stuff. And whether you believe she did it or not, I know what I believe. I know what the Lord showed me. For both him and her, I will say, as long as there's breath in your body, you have purpose. And I would just encourage you to pray for both of them. But my prayer is that what's done in the dark is brought to the light, and that those that are innocent and those that are guilty will be dealt with accordingly, but that the truth comes out. Like I said, eat the meat, spit out the bones. But, you know, I've been watching, I've been hearing the updates and things, and I've just been praying for her. My heart breaks for her. My heart breaks for the children. And like I said, pray for both of them. Pray for both of them, because 3 little lives are gone. And I can say personally, I feel like a lot was not handled right. That's all I'm gonna say. So anyways, I felt led to share that dream with you guys, and just pray about it. Just pray about it. All right. Bye.